I'd like to call the meeting of the Personnel Committee for Monday, November 21st to order. Start off with a roll call, please.
Alderman Barber.
Here.
Alderman Nelson is excused. Alderman Holfer.
Here.
Bill Weichel is absent. Tom Trainer.
Here.
Richard Budney.
Here.
Frank Bress here.
All stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Second item on the agenda is comment period. Any citizens wishing, please stand up, give your name and address, and give us your comments. Second call. Any citizens? Second call. Any citizens wishing to make a comment, please stand up. With nobody standing up, I will close the citizen comment period. Approval of the minutes from the 10/17/2022 meeting.
So moved.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nay. Passes unanimously. The next item is the Director of Administration recap of the 2023 benefit renewals.
So just a reminder, we did talk about the renewals in detail. Following that, the council considered them and approved all of them. We did open enrollment right away on November 4th. We sent the employees all the information as well as the benefit guide for 2023. And then we did hold open enrollment meetings on November 14th and 15th. We didn't get a great turnout, but we did put the video from the meeting on the extranet site along with the guide. So beginning of December.
And where is that available to be seen?
You have to be on the city's network.
Okay.
We call it our extranet. It's kind of a.
To be seen?
You have to be on the city's network.
Okay.
We call it our extranet. It's kind of a intranet, but it basically has an open enrollment section, the video from
With
the
video.
meetings, and the guide and other applications, etc.
Moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, item number 5, consideration of aligning benefits with the non-representative employee group.
This is something we've talked about for a number of months. I know it's been on and off since I've been here in 2020, and I know it was discussed here in 2020, and I know it was discussed even before that. Back in 2015, late 2015, there was a new classification compensation study that was done, and then a program was implemented. Pay for all the non-represented employees was aligned at that time. There was also, to my understanding, a commitment at that time to align all the benefits in the same manner. And unfortunately, it hasn't occurred yet, so that's why we're dealing with number 5 tonight. We did, in detail, talk about it at the July and August meeting. In August, the committee asked staff to bring back the recommended motions, which you will see in the packet item 5. It's the committee's desire, one by one. We had some attachments tonight, which were all the same attachments that you've seen prior, but we just want to give you a little refresher on them. So it's really the pleasure of the committee on how you want to do those one by one and talk about each one.
I'd recommend that we discuss each motion, and then if there's any discussion after that, we could ask for any comment or discussion. First motion effective as of 1/1/2023 to recommend to council to update the retiree health insurance benefit for dispatchers, changing the employer subsidy from 75% of the insurance premium rate to effect 2025 to 75% of the insurance rate effective at the time of retirement. For those employees who meet the established eligibility requirements to be aligned with all other representative employees.
So this is the one where we talked about the major benefit, the main benefit that most employees in the non-rep group have is you have 20 years of service. You would get, on the date you retire, 75% of your premiums. If you have 20 years of service, you would get, on the date you retire, 75% of your premium paid. That 75 kind of gets frozen, and then pay all those increases going forward. Dispatchers, previously, a long time ago in a year, had 75% of the premium rate for 2005. Implementation went into place. That one never got changed. I believe it was on the docket change. First handout you have from tonight does show that we have 14 dispatch positions. Currently, we have 2 employees that will not meet the requirements just because of where they're at.
It says 3 on that.
Oh, sorry, 3. Sorry. 2 at the bottom. There are 3 of them, number 4, number 13, and 14. And then you can kind of see where it goes. Obviously, there is an added expense to this. We believe that 4 of those will potentially retire between now and 2027 or so. The other 6 we don't expect to retire sometime 15, approximately. So when you see that it's 19 months, you kind of see the first months, you kind of see the first employee 19 months, $4,930, but it's $259 per month. And again, some of our employees are high deductible plan, and some are is costly. So that's why we did that as worst case. Of course, if it went well, and we calculated those all into $2, but $20 will be back. So it is a cost effect. We do have a health insurance fund. We maintain that. I don't know this as what's right by our employees, because when we did the class and comp study, we said we were pay benefit that.
Any discussion of this item?
So we're talking about 14 people at this point? Is that right? So we're talking about 14 people at this point? Is that right?
That's how many dispatchers there are, correct. So it would be current and future.
So I had notes from back in 21 that we have 130 non-rep, 100 rep points. They're non-reps, so it should be 14 in a non-rep category.
Correct. And then there on the next item, which is another version of this, there's another 19.
Okay. And we're talking about giving them parity, bringing them up to it.
Anyone wish to make a motion? Anyone wish to make a motion?
So move.
Second.
Okay, is there any further discussion on the motion? No, it's been made. Okay, I'd like to do further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Approved unanimously. Motion number 2, effective on 1/1/2023, to recommend to council to implement the same retiree health insurance benefit for those current and non-represented employees who previously belonged to the Teamsters and non-represented employees except public works employees. This benefit with the city paying the 70% of the retiree insurance premium rate effective at the time of retirement is to be afforded to those with at least 20 years of service of the city, 65, with the city paid subsidy ending at age 65, to align with all other non-represented employees except public works employees.
So this is the same kind of situation, only the folks in the Teamsters and ASME union were not afforded. And folks in the Teamsters and ASME union were not afforded any retiree point or previous one. The reason it says except the public works employees is because we're going to deal with that one in the next motion. There's a little different DH requirement because of those duties. I will tell you that in this group of these 19 employees, currently, again, current and future employees will be affected, but there's only a couple that would be projected to retire in the next 4 to 5 years. A couple more, 27 to 2020, 2036 range, and beyond 7 would be the majority. And I will say that fewer employees as we go on because of the nature of employment than ever before. Keep in mind, it has to be 20 years of service achieved, as well as now fewer and fewer people will as we do have some waivers at this point, i.e. that are not taking insurance. So it just depends at a time.
So again, it's just to bring it up to what we talked about many years ago
Correct.
and make it full.
Very
Any discussion of that motion, or would someone like to make
I
a
would
motion?
move to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion unanimous. The third motion within that line item is motion effective as of 1/1/2023 to recommend to council to update the retiree health insurance benefit for public works employees, retiree health insurance benefit for public works employees, changing the eligibility for the benefit from age 60 and 15 years of service to age 60, 20 years of service, to align with the years of service needed with all other non-represented employees, the grandfather and the existing employees, to allow them years of service so that they will not be negatively affected during this transition.
So this one, our public works employees do a little bit, the work is a little bit different in nature than the rest of our non-reps, somewhat similar to what public safety employees do. So public safety employees have much different age. Requirements, but this one, been at 60. Other employed non-reps, we recommend keeping that the same, but we're very strong on the grandfathering. Those highlighted employees, this is the third handout. There's not, it's not likely that it'll be a cost savings. Let's start out with that. It'll be a cost savings because right now it's 60 and 15 years. We thought it important to get to the 20 years of service, which is required for all other employees. But it'll depend again how many employees we just really don't want to pull that out for.
All employees at this point.
Correct. That would be eligible.
New employees would be affected.
Yep, they would be age 6, 20 years would be the standard.
Any discussion of this motion, or would someone like to make the motion?
So moved.
Move.
Second.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes unanimously. Moving on to the item B within this section 5, vacation benefits, and there's 2 motions attached to that.
So the first one is, if you look at the fourth handout, it's the bar chart with the colored lines across. You can see differences. The first one is the Department of Public Works employees. They don't receive currently their third week until after 6 years of service, when all of the other non-reps receive after 5 years. That first motion requesting that we, again, make it the same as all the other 5 years.
That get out of alignment. That's an odd one.
Well, they used to all have separate bargaining agreements. So when the bargaining agreements went away and we did the class and comp side on the wages, we didn't do this. But that was just one of the and we did the class and comp side on the wages, we didn't do this. But that was just one of the union negotiated benefits at the time.
Tying up a lot of loose. Okay, the motion, effect 2023 to recommend council to award current and future public works employees their third week of vacation after 5 years of service rather than after 6 years of service, aligned to benefit with all other non-represented employees. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of the motion? All
Aye.
in favor of the motion?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, passes unanimous. So we're going to go on to item 2, or the second motion within vacation benefits.
This is the same exact story, except for it's for dispatchers. It happens between their 3rd and 4th week. All other non-reputed at 12 years of after 12 years of service. Again, an old hangover is that the as well.
I'll read the motion. Motion effective as of 1/1/2023 to recommend to council to award current and future 12 years of service rather than after 13 years of service to align the benefit with all other non-represented employees. Their motion.
A discussion.
Discussion first.
On the business on the first one, the DPW, they had to go 6 years before they get their 3rd week. Do we have any makeup that we have to do with regard to that? Is it affecting anybody at this time?
Not sure. I would say that anybody who has, so you're saying between the years of 5 and 6, is there anybody of 5 and 6, is there anybody there?
Right, or has anybody missed out on that?
I'm sure there's
Definitely.
people that have missed out on it.
Okay, can we take a look at that next meeting?
Would ever go
Yeah,
back
I was
and
gonna say
do
that
that.
would be
Yeah.
tough. I guess,
Retroactively
retro.
provide
We've
Okay.
had someone gone that have been, haven't.
Okay. Just a thought.
Yeah.
The same with the 10 days after 1 year, 5 years, so on and so forth on the bottom there. Bringing that down to 12 years rather than being at 13. Would that affect anybody at presently employed?
That window, but if they're within that window, I would think that right. I'm just not sure about the retro.
And it's effective as of January of next year, so.
Do we need to include language to make that retro?
Yes, I guess not having, I'm sure there's gonna be people that have come and gone and have missed that. I think if it's a future change,
That's what I was getting at as of January of 2023. Okay.
Any further discussion? Call for a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion passes unanimous. The item C within item 5C, a method of accruing vacation. One motion, see attached. Motion effective as of 1/1/23. Recommend to council to change the accrual method for dispatchers to accrue vacation depending upon annual allocation on a per pay period basis as the other non-represented employees rather than on an annual basis, including a represented employees rather than on an annual basis, including a transition period for existing employees, so they will not be negatively affected during the transition.
So this one is, right now, the dispatchers are the only ones that are still accruing vacation on an annual basis. This will not change anything with how much they call. It will not positively or negatively affect anyone. But what it is, so right now, if we have somebody who starts in November, they don't get any vacation for a whole year. They don't see any paycheck, they don't. As soon as they hit that year, they get 2 weeks. They have basically then 2 months to use those 2 weeks. They use it or lose it, and then they go here and they get allocation. Now, if they separate employment before the anniversary date of November 1st, they have to pay back anything gotten on that annual accrual. So really what we're doing is the actual reporting of this is doing it on a accrual basis. but we're giving it in lump sum. So it's really hard right now for what they have, right? Because I could be that person who started in November, I take my 2 weeks off in March, have a family vacation plan, and then all of a sudden I separate from the city in June, and the city says, much, but you us 4 days back. So this is more of a record-keeping issue, and did put in the note about the transition. Dana and I spoke about that in detail today, and what she told me was we've done this numerous times when we've switched over other annual accruals, and basically we've given 1 year. What I would ask you for is a little than that, because you don't want to pull the pull the rug out. I'm working with Cindy at the supervisor. Cindy Mackey is the supervisor of those employees. We just want to make sure that we handle any transition issues that we have. But again, nobody's going to get any more or less than a real.
Any, only one that was approved that way, coverage problems during their certain events or people who were onboarded around the time?
So that's more of an operational question, and I kind of put in the description here, we don't want to choose, the dispatchers, supervisors will still approve the uses of vacation to ensure proper staffing, so it will not affect any kind of mechanism right now if somebody's not able to vacation here for the chief and myself to approve those. But right now, we're not suggesting any to that, and they've been managing it.
Any further discussion? Is there a motion? Any further discussion? Is there a motion?
Second.
And a motion made and seconded. All in favor saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No nays. Motion passes unanimously. I also see that there's an item D in the packet, just for reference, I assume, at this point.
It is. We're still working on that one. This is one that we've talked about as well. We did include that chart again for you so you could see the chart. We do believe we are going to be making some recommendations on this just to get some more parity with all of the non-rep groups. We're just working with all the departments right now to see.
For your reference.
Yep.
Let's have the item number 6 is the staffing report.
Couple things in the staffing report. Police patrol officers are the big one, obviously, that we have a lot of openings in. There's currently 5 openings. There's another person that is leaving in November and 2 people leaving in December. We got another resignation this morning. And then we anticipate another 3 people retiring within the next couple months. There's a lot of openings. We do have a police and fire commission meeting tomorrow where they're hoping to approve 5 positions to fill the current open ones. And they have quite a few other applicants that have applied that they'll be doing more rounds of interviews. Hopefully they'll get enough people selected. The labor position was finally filled and the person started today. The city clerk position was filled as of last week. The building inspector, we do have somebody selected and we're working on coming to terms and hopefully get somebody accepted for that soon. Planning manager position is still open. The heavy equipment operator position, I will be making an offer tonight, provided that his application gets approved by civil service tonight. Hopefully that one will be filled. We're still interviewing for a library shelver position, just closed applications this morning, so they'll start interviewing for that position within the next week. And then the next 2 on the list are fairly new openings, and those have not been posted yet. The fire inspector position and the mechanic is retiring.
The accountant.
That one is not posted at all yet either.
Quick question, Dana. I guess in all of these, but in particular in the police department, there any opportunities with these vacancies for existing staff to move up?
For police officer, no, these are all regular police officer positions. There's no lower positions that they could be moving up from. Some of the positions that they end up filling will be people that still have to go to the academy, so although they fill the spot, they won't do us a lot of benefit until they make it through the academy in about 4 months.
Kind of like apprentice.
But next year, we might have one because the council approved that CSO, that community officer. That could be one.
Somebody moves
Somebody
up.
could. And I know the chief was actually.
In that position, we can't fill yet until after we do the job description, which will hopefully be on next month's agenda.
And no pool in DPW for anybody to step up?
Possibly for mechanic.
Okay, item number 7 on the list is our next meeting. Now, before we go there, I just have an item of old business that I'd like to share over the sergeants. Trying to get to the 200 hours issued to council. At council, the council decided to just ask the Police and Fire Commission for some input on that as well, to get another source of input. So that's where it's just let this committee know what's happened, whole business kind of update. So that's where it stands right now. We're waiting for the Police and Fire Commission to give us that kind of an update and a review of that. And back to council, back on council. Okay, next meeting is December 19th, 2022. Things that we are talking about putting on there is the approval of the community officer job description, discussion regarding potential changes to the sick leave incentive severance pay, policy and consideration of paid time off, PTO policy, approval of an intern job description, and discussion regarding military pay differential policy. Those are more things that will be under review at our next meeting on the 19th. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So before we do that, could we just maybe get a poll for December 19th? I know we're getting kind of close to the holidays. Is that still work for everyone?
For me. Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?